3 terrifying hiking encounters caught on camera. Viewer warning. Tonight we're diving into 3 real encounters from hikers who should never have survived what was waiting for them. Daylight chases, blood-soaked campsites, and a hooded figure stalking from the shadows. This is your final warning. Once you hear these stories, hiking in the woods will never feel the same again. Hiker caught in daylight pursuit. Viewer warning. Our first encounter happened on a warm, bright afternoon, the kind of calm, peaceful day where nothing feels threatening. And that's exactly why what happened next is so disturbing. He'd planned a simple day hike, nothing intense, just a few miles in, a few miles out. But halfway down the trail, he suddenly realized something. There were no sounds, no birds, no insects, not even wind. Just dead, unnatural silence. At first, he thought nothing of it, but then he noticed something ahead on the path. A man, standing perfectly still. The hiker tried to keep moving, pretending not to notice, but as he got closer, the man did something strange. He turned, looked directly at him, and took a single step forward. The hiker nodded politely and walked past, but just as he cleared the man's shoulder, he heard something that made his blood freeze. He was being followed, and the footsteps were getting faster. The hiker sped up, so did the man. He walked faster. The man started jogging. Now the hiker was running, full sprint in broad daylight, being hunted on an empty trail with no one around to hear him scream. He didn't dare look behind him until he reached a fork in the trail and darted left. He finally risked a glance back. The man was standing at the intersection, chest heaving, watching him, not moving, but smiling. He ran the rest of the trail without stopping. When he reached the parking area, his car was the only one there. Except for one more detail. A fresh footprint pressed into the dust right next to his driver's door. He never saw the man again, but to this day, he swears that smile was the scariest thing he'd ever seen in broad daylight. That was daylight, but our next story takes place deep in the back country, where darkness isn't the thing you should be afraid of. Hiker's worst nightmare, bloody animal in camp. Our second encounter happened on a multi-day backcountry trip, the kind where you don't see another person for days. And on this trip, something didn't want these hikers there. The night was quiet, too quiet. The group settled into their tents and slept until something jolted them awake. They listened. Something heavy was moving outside camp, circling them slowly. Finally, one of them unzipped the tent to look. At first, he saw nothing, but then his flashlight caught something glistening on the ground. Blood, a lot of it, leading straight into the camp. Then the smell hit them, metallic, sharp, fresh. They followed the trail with their lights and stopped cold. A large animal had been dragged into their campsite. Its insides were torn apart. And the strangest part, its throat had been sliced clean. That wasn't a predator. That was a blade. They swept their flashlights around and saw boot prints circling their tents. Someone had killed the animal and brought it directly into the center of camp. Then they heard it. Rapid, crunching footsteps in the dark. Someone was running away, fast. The group didn't pack up, they didn't debate. They grabbed what they could and ran through the darkness using only moonlight to guide them. When they finally reached their car, they shined their lights behind them. No one was there, but on the trunk of the car was a bloody handprint. Just one. To this day, they don't know what they stumbled into or how close they came to being the next thing dragged into camp. If those 2 stories didn't scare you out of the woods, our final one might. Mysterious hooded stranger chases hikers. Our final encounter begins with a simple nighttime hike. A couple out for fresh air. Nothing strange. Until they reached the ridge. They noticed a man on the trail ahead, hood up, standing completely still. They assumed he didn't hear them approaching, but as soon as they got within 20 feet, the hooded stranger stepped off the trail and disappeared into the trees. Weird, but not terrifying. Not yet. But minutes later, they heard it behind them. Someone was following, matching their pace, step for step. They called out, "Hello? Do you need help?" No answer. Just breathing. The couple sped up, the footsteps gone faster. Then the man suddenly ran. He charged at them out of the darkness, full sprint, branches whipping behind them. They bolted, hearts pounding, tripping over rocks, barely able to see where they were going. But the man was fast. Too fast. And then he stopped. Just stopped. The couple reached a clearing and turned around. And the man was standing at the tree line, watching. Not moving, not speaking. They didn't stop running until they reached the road. And when they looked back one last time, the tree line was empty. Police searched the trail. No footprints, no man, no trace that anyone had ever been there. But every night since then, the couple says they still hear footsteps behind them when they walk alone. If these stories didn't convince you to stay alert out there, nothing will. If you want more terrifying encounters like these, hit like, subscribe, and make sure notifications are on so you never miss out a night in the dark.